This is Mac OS Ken.
Negative Nispel stays negative. Apple prevails on a couple of lawsuits and posts from the metaverse. It is Monday, the 9th of December, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Turtle Beach. Level up your game and get 10% off at Turtle Beach with code MacOSKen at turtlebeach.com/MacOSKen. This show is also sponsored by 1Password Extended Access Management. Imagine your company's security like the quad of a college campus. There are nice brick paths between the buildings, and the paths worn in over the years by people going the way they actually go. The nice paths are the company-owned devices, IT-approved apps, and managed employee identities you'd like your staff to use. The actual paths are the unmanaged devices, shadow IT apps, and non-employee identities a lot of them are actually using. You need to know what they're actually doing, which is where 1Password Extended Access Management comes in. It brings all those unmanaged devices, unknown applications, and rogue identities under your control, ensuring that every user credential is strong and protected, every device is known and healthy, and every app is visible. 1Password Extended Access Management solves the problems traditional identity access management and mobile device management miss. It is security for the way people actually work. It's available now to companies with Okta and Microsoft Entra and in beta for Google Workspace customers. Check it out at 1password.com/MacOSKen. That is the number 1password.com/MacOSKen. Is it news that a guy who's been negative on Apple shares for quite a while is still negative on Apple shares? Say hey to Keybanc analyst Brandon Nispel, who's, guess what, still negative on Apple shares. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note he wrote on Friday that had him beating the same drum he's beaten for a bit. Among the concerns expressed by the analyst, upgrade rates are slow, people are holding onto their iPhones longer. Sounds like the same thing twice to me, but okay. Apple Intelligence is pretty much US only for now. iPhone changes are evolutionary, not revolutionary, and on and on and on he goes. While Apple is an impressive business in Nispel's estimation, it currently faces unrealistic expectations to re-accelerate growth across all product categories and geographies. He and his recommend underweight positions in Apple, according to the note. Doing as he says, Nispel maintains an underweight rating on Apple shares and a price target of $200. For what it's worth, Apple 3.0's Philip Elmer DeWitt says Nispel set that $200 target in July of 2023. Clients who followed his advice missed out on gains of $52.54, or 21.6% per share, according to the site. Remember a couple of weeks ago when Brazil gave Apple 20 days to open the App Store to competitors and third-party payment solutions? Companies received something of a reprieve. 9to5Mac says a Brazilian court overturned the injunction last Thursday. Doesn't sound like the court's against the idea entirely, but 20 days was just silly. The report has the judge saying the technical complexity of the changes and the global regulatory impacts of similar decisions in other regions, such as the European Union, reinforce the need for such changes to be discussed in greater depth. So, no hard deadline, though possible changes do still loom. 9to5Mac says Brazilian regulators can still appeal, and investigations will continue. Remember that lawsuit over whether the 5 gigabytes of free iCloud storage was duplicitous on Apple's part or something? That appears to be dead again. According to a piece from Mac Rumors, the lawsuit alleged that Apple deceived customers into purchasing iCloud-enabled devices by misleading customers into believing that they can easily keep their iCloud storage usage below the free 5GB limit. In reality, the plaintiffs allege that users quickly exceed this limit and then must pay for increasingly costly iCloud storage plans. Those go from 50 gigabytes of storage for 99 cents a month up to 12 terabytes for $59.99 a month. The case was actually dismissed by a U.S. District Court in Northern California back in 2022 and then got appealed up to the Ninth Circuit, which once again put the kibosh on it. In the ruling, the piece says, 3 Ninth Circuit judges said the plaintiffs failed to establish that it is virtually impossible for them to reduce their storage, or that they will inevitably be forced to pay for iCloud storage. In fact, 2 named plaintiffs were still on the 5GB tier. The judges added that customers have the option to turn off iCloud at any time. Plaintiffs do have the option of appealing to the Supreme Court. Mac Rumors sees that court hearing this case as extremely unlikely, making it look pretty dead. Apple Retail is headed to Saudi Arabia. The company issued a press release late Sunday here in the States, early Monday in Saudi Arabia, announcing both online and brick-and-mortar moves. According to the release, the company plans to bring the online Apple Store online for the country in the summer of 2025. Then in 2026, Apple says it will begin opening the first of several flagship Apple Store locations in Saudi Arabia, with an iconic retail store planned for Diriyah, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Turtle Beach, helping gamers play their best at every level. Christmas is uncomfortably soon. If there's a gamer in your life, may I suggest the Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset from Turtle Beach. They sent me a pair a few weeks back, and the verdict around here, they are game changers. Pardon the pun, but I stand by it. My special lady friend cannot get over the level of immersion the Stealth 700 brings to No Man's Sky. Personally, I dig the cross-play wireless system for switching from one device to another, like from the Xbox to my MacBook Air. They've also got simultaneous wireless and Bluetooth, so you can take a call or listen to the music on your phone and the sounds in your game at the same time, and all of that with amazing go time between charges. They're comfortable, they're stylish, they're worth checking out. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. For a limited time only, head to turtlebeach.com/macOSKen and use code macOSKen for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com/macOSKen with promo code macOSKen. Don't delay, get the perfect gift now and get it for 10% off with code macOSKen at turtlebeach.com/macOSKen. A story over the weekend from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman that will make at least one macOSKen listener very happy. In his now paywalled Power On newsletter, Gurman says Apple is working on support for third-party hand controllers in Vision OS, the operating system for Apple Vision Pro. Working from his usual secret source pool, Gurman says Apple approached Sony earlier this year, and the duo agreed to work together on launching support for the PlayStation VR 2's hand controllers on the Vision Pro. Inside Sony, the work has been a months-long undertaking, and Apple has discussed the plan with third-party developers, asking them if they would integrate support into their games. Now, in addition to helping with games on Apple's headset, indications in the piece are that the 6 degrees of freedom controllers could be beneficial for productivity tasks and media editing. The way the piece puts it, if Apple wants to bring programs like Final Cut Pro and Adobe Photoshop into this realm, hand controllers will be necessary. Can we really call the Meta Quest line and Apple Vision Pro competitors? While they seem to have different target markets and wildly different price points, they both do mixed reality stuff, and you do wear both of them on your face. Not at the same time, of course. I'm tempted to call them competitors, though. Would you call the Ford Focus and the Porsche 911 competitors? I've thought about this too much. Anyway, while the Meta Quest line is infinitely more accessible and supports a larger number of dedicated apps and games, it seems to lag in terms of 3D content. Now, a piece from Upload VR says Meta is making a big move to better compete on that front. According to the piece, director James Cameron, who pretty much revolutionized 3D films with Avatar, has announced an exclusive multi-year partnership with Meta to help bring significantly more 3D video content to Quest headsets. Upload VR says the partnership comes through Cameron's new company Lightstorm Vision, which has the goal of making stereoscopic technology ubiquitous for all visual media by enabling stereoscopic 3D content creation in as seamless a manner as traditional 2D. Specifically, Lightstorm Vision is building tools it hopes will enable traditional entertainment productions to film and distribute in 3D easily and at low cost. Meta expects the partnership to yield 3D sports, concerts, feature films, and TV series exclusively for its headset line. The weekend saw a couple of trailers from Apple TV Plus that were both pulse-pounding, though for different reasons. Coming soon to Apple TV Plus, the sci-fi romance horror film The Gorge. Describing the movie, Apple says 2 highly trained operatives are appointed to posts in guard towers on the opposite sides of a vast and highly classified gorge, protecting the world from an undisclosed, mysterious evil that lurks within. The operatives are played by Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller. They fall in love across the gorge, into which they are eventually drawn. Once in it, they have to work together to keep whatever's in the gorge, hopefully themselves not included. Sigourney Weaver also stars. Apple TV Plus goes into the gorge on Friday, the 14th of February. That trailer's up now on YouTube. Coming sooner to Apple TV Plus, the sci-fi romance horror series Severance Season 2. Yeah, I'm stretching the definition of horror, but I'm doing it for symmetry. There's no point in trying to explain this trailer except to say that it seems to promise a season that is even more messed up than the first one. Everybody's back, there are new faces, the show returns on the 17th of January. That trailer is also up now on YouTube. And finally today, congratulations to the fictional shrinks behind the Apple TV Plus series Shrinking. 9 to 5 Mac has the Cupertino comedy turning up on this year's 10 best shows list from the American Film Institute. You probably know, but as a reminder, Apple says Shrinking follows a grieving therapist who starts to break the rules and tell his clients exactly what he thinks. Ignoring his training and ethics, he finds himself making huge, tumultuous changes to people's lives, including his own. This is not the first Apple series to make AFI's end-of-year list. Last year, The Morning Show made the top 10. In 2022, both Severance and Pachinko were on the list. And in 2021, a little heard of, barely noticed show called Ted Lasso was among the AFI honorees. Shrinking is partway through its second season. That portion and the entire first season are both available to stream now on Apple TV+. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by 1Password Extended Access Management. Learn more at onepassword.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Turtle Beach. Level up your game and get 10% off with code MacOSKen at turtlebeach.com/MacOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
It's still sunny.